All right, we're going to go and get started today with our next speed drill. So open up your speed test booklets to page 3, and we're going to do the speed test 4 at the top of the page. Again, they call speed tests on here. They're just speed drills. They don't even count a full quiz each. Remember, the first 14 collectively make one quiz grade. So won't hurt your grade too much, but an important way to make sure we're staying busy and staying fast in our math. You might need an extra sheet of paper. There's not a lot of room to work on here, so if you need extra paper, you can go and get out a sheet of paper. It is up to you. You're going to have 3 minutes. 3 minutes for this speed drill. Remember, you do not have to work the problems in order. So if you see that a particular problem, ooh, I don't know how to do that one, well, don't spend a lot of time on it. Go to a problem you do know how to do. Jump around, get all the easy ones first, get the hard ones later. All right, so we're going to have 3 minutes. And it looks like we are just about ready, and you may begin.
Bless you. Bless you.
Stop. All right, put your pencils away off your desks. Get your pens out. Pencils away, pens out. And exchange. So that you don't have your own people at the back, bring them forward. Everyone else pass them back. People to the back, bring them to the front. Everyone else pass your booklet back to the person behind you. Get out your pens. So pencils off your desks. Pens are out. And sign your name as the grader next to where it says Speed Test 5. They're at the bottom of Speed Test 4. And these are going to be 10 points each. 10 points each. Number 1, I like to see that 11 and 9 would make 20, and 7 and 3 makes 10, so when you add that up, you get 30. Might be an easy way to add it up. Doesn't really matter if you do it that way, but 30 is your answer for number 1. Number 2 had to do some borrowing there to get 347. 347. Number 3, 78,104. 78,104. For number 4, make sure as we multiply double digit, we don't forget to put that 0 to hold the place to get 962 for the answer. 962. And number 5, being careful with that borrowing again to get 417. 417. Bottom row going across, you could use some short division on number 6. Since it's single digit, might have made your work a little quicker. 3,257. 3,257. Number 7, you'd want to use an estimator of 4 for this particular problem. I might have saved this for last, especially if division's a weakness. 42, though, is our answer. 42 is the correct answer for number 7. Number 8, there's a little bit of a shortcut. What could we do, class? Knock off the zeros. And make it 344 divided by 43. As long as you're using 4 for your estimator, you're going to say that 4 goes into 34 8 times. And sure enough, that's exactly right. 8. That's your answer. 8. For number 9, you might have done 9 and 10 before the division, especially again if division's a weakness for you. Number 9, when you add, just be careful with your carrying. You get 1,120. Number 9 is 1,120. And number 10, some subtraction, 231. 231. Again, these are 10 points each. Figure the score to the best of your ability. Put it in the score blank. And also put it on the score page next to where it says Speed Drill 4. Question.
So you just put a slash through the
Just put a slash if it's wrong, 10 points each. So obviously minus 0 would be 100, minus 1 would be a 90, minus 2 would be an 80, minus 3 would be a 70, so forth. 10 points each. Once you got the scores on both places, yes sir? Okay, that was not a question. Okay. Once you got the scores in both places, go ahead and pass them forward to the owner. Unless you're at the front, then take them to the back.
Yeah, good.
Does not require talking. And let's see, owners, take a look at your scores once we've got them back. We've got some people still gray. There we go. Get them back to the owners. All right, this was a tough one. This was a tough one. 3 minutes to get those problems done. Did anyone get 100? A couple of you. Wow. How about 90s? You only missed 1 on the whole speed test. That'd still be really good. Yeah, 80s respectable. Any 80s out there? Just missed 2. Okay, so some of us maybe need to be a little faster or don't get bogged down on division problems. Pass those forward if you would, please. Pass those forward if you would, please. As those are coming forward, open up your textbooks to page 32. As they're coming forward, open up your textbooks to page 32, Corey. Page 32. And at the bottom of the page is a review section. I want you to be working those problems in the review section at the bottom of page 32. Page 32 at the bottom, numbers 22 to 34. Page 32, the review, numbers 22 to 34. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll continue, really wrap up our discussion of ordered operations today. Be working diligently. You see it right here, you subtracted before you did the multiplication. You don't do that. Make sure you do the multiplication first, then subtract. Make sure you're carefully following order of operations there. Remember, parentheses first, then your exponents, then your multiplication division. Don't touch that addition subtraction until the very end. Save it for last. Several people already finished. Good. You're still working. That's okay. Still got another about 2 more minutes to be finishing. For sake of time, pencils down, even if you're not finished with the entire review section. Number 22 through 24 really should be straightforward for us, just using exponents to rewrite groups of factors. Sam, number 22, what'd you have?
2 squared, no, cubed.
You're right, squared, just 2 of them.
Then times 3 squared times 5.
There we go, 2 squared times 3 squared times 5. Number 23, Bryson.
2 squared.
There we go, and 2 times 3 squared times 7, and number 24, Luciana.
5 times 7 squared.
Excellent, 5 times 7 squared. Number 25, when you expand it out and multiply, what do you get for your answer, Paige?
125.
125. Number 26, Jalen?
26, I got 49.
49, and number 27, Corey? 50 is correct. Number 28 through 30, using order of operations. Let's see how we did on these. Let's start with Griffin. What did you get for 28?
1.
1 is correct. Excellent. Make sure you save that subtraction for last. So do the division to get 4, do the multiplication to get 3, and then subtract to get the 1. Number 29, what did you get for that, Ben?
2.
2 is correct. Excellent. Take care of the parentheses to get an 18. And then we have to also do that exponent, 3 squared, to get 9 before we can do the division. And that 18 divided by 9 gives us the 2. And then for number 30, what did you get, Kirsten?
Oh, I didn't do number.
Didn't get to number 30. What did you get, Elaine?
45.
45 is correct. We'll start with the multiplication and the division. Class, where's the multiplication? The parentheses. Where's the division, class? That fraction bar. So the 8 times 7, 56, we do first. We'll also do the 32 divided by 2, which is 16. And then we'll do the addition subtraction. That's where we get 45. Number 31, division by primes can be used to find prime factors. Well, yeah, true, that's the whole point. Number 32, the number 2 is composite number class. Prime, it's a prime number, that's false. Prime factorization of 27 is 9 times 3, Michael. Oh, is that prime factorization?
Oh,
No. What would it be?
three.
Somebody help? Jalen?
1 times 27.
No, that prime factorization. Take it all the way down. Yes, sir. Back to you.
3 times 3 times 3.
There we go. 3 times 3 times 3. It's not that it's wrong to say 3 times 9, but that's not prime factorization, is it, class? We're not done if we've still got a 9. That could still factor to get a 3 times 3. We may even scribble out the 9 so we don't try to use it again. And there's our prime factors of 27, or 3 cubed. And let's see, back to Michael for redemption. 4008 is divisible by 3. That is true, because the sum of the digits is what, Michael?
Divisible by 3.
The sum of the digits is what, Michael?
12.
12, which is divisible by 3. By the way, it's also an even number class, so it's divisible by
2.
2. By the way, if you look at the last 2 digits, 08, that's divisible by 4. And since it was divisible by 2 in 3 class, it's also divisible by 6. Not by the other numbers we talked about, but it's divisible by those 4. But it is true that it's divisible by 3. Questions on the review? Yes, ma'am.
Can we use exponents on number 33?
Oh, absolutely. I even said that. 3 times 3 times 3, or you could say 3 cubed. Yep, excellent. I love exponents because I'm lazy. So by all means, be lazy. Let the brainwashing take. Turn back to page 26 now, if you would, please. Turn back to page 26. I want to look at some different grouping symbols. So far, we've talked about parentheses as being a grouping symbol, but there are others, especially if there are different levels of grouping. Look at the top of the page, table G, at the top of page 26. They've got the parentheses, of course, around the 2 plus 10, showing they want you to do that first. But look right below it. They will occasionally use, they're like squared off parentheses called brackets. Class, say that word?
Brackets.
Brackets. And brackets are oftentimes used if parentheses have already been used. So notice they already have parentheses around an 8 plus 2. They're going to put brackets around this to show that, okay, you take care of the 8 plus 2 first to get class 8 plus 2 class 10, right? And then we'll do the 10 divided by 10 rather than multiplying the 4 times 10 first. So normally, if this had just said 4 times 10 divided by 8 plus 2, if there had been no brackets here, class, then once we solve the parentheses, we would multiply and then divide. But it doesn't want us to do that. It wants us instead to solve the 10 divided by 10 first, class, to get 1, and then multiply. Notice it's up against the bracket. That's the same as being up against parentheses. 4 times 1 would give us an answer of 4. So brackets mean the same thing as parentheses. It just helps you to see it differently. Rather than having lots of parentheses and you're running into each other and which parenthesis means what, they differentiate with brackets. Or, if they've already got parentheses and they've already got brackets, they've got the one I hate to draw, and that's braces. Not the kind you have on your teeth, but a brace, we'll see if I can do it, looks like that, and then like that, okay? So they're a pain to draw, let's be honest, okay? Especially for a lazy mathematician, you'd rather just do that. Like parentheses, I don't mind. Brackets, okay, a little obnoxious, but squaring them off, whatever. The braces are just, whatever. But that's another grouping symbol, and it means the same thing. But look at the last one. The last grouping symbol, class. It doesn't look anything like the other 3. It's a fraction bar. When you have a fraction bar, if there's just one number on top of one number, class, the fraction bar just means divide. Then, no sir. But if you've got multiple numbers, maybe you've got something like 2 times 10 plus 5 over 5. Now this not only means division, it's as if there are parentheses around all of it. But mathematicians are lazy, and so rather than do that, we don't put the parentheses, we use the fraction bar to show the grouping. Also, it would mean the same thing, class, as this. Do you see that? But which is easier, parenthesis, dot slash dot, or just use a fraction bar for all of it, it means the same thing, okay? So the fraction bar functions as a grouping symbol. Look at the example now in the blue shaded box. Notice they have 27 plus 3 in the numerator and a 10 in the denominator. Normally, I would look at that and say I've got division, I've got addition. Which one comes first, class? Division. But no, the fraction bar groups that addition first. So first we'll do 27 plus 3, class. 30. Then divide the 10 to get 3 for our answer. Does that make sense? Look at the next example, letter B. Look above that fraction bar. We've got a 6 squared minus 2, and then up in parentheses, we got a 12. All over 18 minus 4 squared. All right? This fraction bar, class, functions as a division problem eventually, but for now we're thinking of it as a grouping symbol. It's like a parentheses, yes. Now within the parentheses, within this grouping symbol, in the top, class, I've got an exponent, subtraction, and multiplication. Which one comes first? Exponent. 6 squared, class? 36, because it means 6 times 6. Minus, and I could rewrite 2 times 12, but I know that's the next thing I'm going to do anyway, right? Because I'm going to wait on that subtraction. What is 2 times 12, class? 24. All over 18 minus, I'm going to do the exponent first, 4 squared, class? 16. Again, imagine I've still got parentheses here. Now I'm going to take care of 36 minus 24. 12. And in the bottom, 18 minus 16.
2.
And now I finally get to do the division. Once you've worked the whole numerator down to one number and the whole denominator down to one number, now we divide. Does that make sense? 18 divided, or 12 divided by 2, class? 6. And there's our answer. Do we see how the fraction bar functions as a grouping symbol? Yes, sir.
So if you do the fraction bar, like the whole thing, and you get it remainder, would it basically be wrong?
Well, I think that's a good question. We're not to fractions yet. That's going to be coming up a little bit later, but we will get to it. Let's say it had been a 13 over 2. Well, then our answer would be 6.5 instead of just 6, right? But I don't think we're going to be working with fractions until we actually get a chance to talk about them. Again, another way you could look at this, class, is 6 squared minus 2 times 12, all grouped, divided by 18 minus 4 squared, all grouped. But you see how it's easier just to use a fraction bar rather than group all of this divided by group all of this. The fraction bar is an easier way to do it. Everything in math is about what's the easiest, laziest way, right? We like math for that reason. All right, look over in your books now at page 27. Just do 3 of these. I just want you to do 22, 24, and 26. So right across the page, page 27, just do those 3. Don't work ahead because I want to make sure we aren't getting any bad habits started. Just do these 3. Do your best. Do your best. And then when we go over it, if you have questions, I'll answer them then. Michael's already done. Wow. This is where I'd love to send you guys to the board. This is where it stings to be recording right now, but it's all good. It's all good. Whatever. Take about 30 seconds more. Most people in the room are done, so take about 30 seconds longer, and then we'll take a look at these answers together. All right, pencils down, even if you're not finished. Number 22, I've got the fraction bar. That's my grouping symbol. In the bottom, I've already got a 7. I'm good. Denominator, it doesn't need to do anything with. Numerator, I've got 2 operations. What are the 2 things in the numerator? Paige?
6 plus 4.
The addition and
Division. Multiplication.
multiplication. Which of those comes first?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So don't touch the 6 plus, just do the multiplication. And 4 times 2 gave you? 8. Now we'll do the addition. You say, well, addition should be last. Well, yeah, but it's grouped. It's as if it's in parentheses. 6 plus the 8 gives us 14. And now we'll end with the division. 14 divided by 7 gave you? 2. How many had 2 for your answer on 22? Number 24. We've got the fraction bar that groups some stuff. And then we've also got a little couple of parentheses over here, a little multiplication going on. But once again, in the top, 2 operations. Which one has to happen first, Jalen?
Multiplication.
Multiplication to get?
6.
6. Then let's take care of the 4 plus 6 to get?
10.
10. Because again, it says if this is all in parentheses. Well, now that the grouping symbol is taken care of, now I've got no exponents, I've got a division and a multiplication. When I divide, Jalen,
You get 2.
2, and when I multiply, I get
6.
and we'll end with the addition to get
8.
8. How many had 8 for number 24? 8 for number 24. And number 26. This one's pretty straightforward. My grouping symbol, fraction bar, tells me to subtract a 10 minus 2, Corey. 8. And then I've got a division and a multiplication. Which one do I do first, Corey?
Division.
Because it happens to be written first. So we'll do 8 divided by 2.
4.
And then we'll multiply the 12 to get
48.
48. How many 48 for number 26? Questions on any of these 3? Any questions on these? All right, go back and hit the odds then, 21 to 27. 21 to 27, hit the odd numbered problems. And then did you multiply? 2. Oh, careful. 2 times 22 is 44. That's going to make the difference. Took about 30 seconds longer. Several people finished here. No. That's using a proportion. A proportion is one where we've got an equal sign between 2 fractions. That's where you use the butterfly. Which one? 24. Okay, I'll give you some help in just a second on that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our answers to these, and then we're going to go over them and see how we did. I'm curious to see if anyone went 4 for 4, though. So check your answers. Number 21, you should have gotten 5. Number 23, you should have gotten 4. Number 25, you should have gotten 2. And number 27, it should have come out to 1. Did anyone go 4 for 4? You got them all right. All right, are there any questions? You say, can you show number whatever? Michael?
What was 23?
23 was 4. Do you need to see that one worked? Okay, let's take a look at 23 very quickly. We've got a 2 up against a parentheses, 14 plus 8, all over 11. All of this up here is grouped, but this is specially grouped. So we're going to start with the 14 plus 8 to get, Michael, 14 plus 8? 22. Then we've got to multiply between the 2 times 22 to get 44. Now that we've got just one number in the top, one number in the bottom, now we'll divide, and that's where we get the 4. Does that make sense? All right, yes, sir. 27, the last one. We had a 10 minus a 2 times 3 all over a 14 minus 10. In the top, I've got a subtraction and a multiplication, but the multiplication has to happen first. So 2 times 3, 6. Then the 10 minus 6 gives us a 4. In the bottom, we just have a subtraction. 14 minus 10 is. Now that we've simplified both, now we divide, and that's where we get the 1. Does that make sense? Good. Anyone need to see 21 or 25? 21 or 25. All right, turn the page. You might remember doing homework a couple nights ago on this page, but we skipped 9 through 11. We're going to do those now. So now do 9 through 11 on page 28. I think I heard someone mutter, I already did it. If you already did it, check over and make sure you did it correctly. Now that we've actually talked about these things. So double check, make sure they're all correct for 9 through 11. A couple people finished. Now several people finished. That is the right kind. I don't know if we'll actually get bigger in here. Yeah, we'll see. I noticed it was on the school supplies. I'm like, oh, actually, we may not need that anymore because they changed the curriculum this year. So. All right, let's go and take a look at these together. And number 9, what did you get for your answer, Kirsten?
4.
4 is correct. Excellent. Number 10, what did you get for your answer, Ben?
6.
6 is correct. And number 11, Jalen, what did you get?
I got 33.
33 is correct. How many also got those 3 answers? 4, 6, and 33? All right, questions. What we missed one. We just need to see it worked real quick. Which ones did we miss? Corey?
11.
You missed 11. Anyone miss 9 or 10 and need to see it worked? All right, all of you who missed one missed 11? All right, let's take a look at 11 then. We do have 2 grouping symbols. I've got this first grouping symbol that groups a 5 times a 3, Corey. 15. Then I've got another grouping symbol that groups an 8 plus a 2. 10. So that takes care of my 2 grouping symbols. One of them was a parenthesis, the other was a fraction bar. Questions on that first step? Does everyone see how and why we do that first? Okay, now I have no exponents, but I do have a division and a multiplication. Let's take care of those. 45 divided by 15, Kirsten. If I gave you $15 and I kept giving you, how many times would I have to give you $15 before you make 45? Or picture 15 minutes on a clock. 15, 15, 15 gets you to the 45 on the clock, right? So that would be 3 of them, right? Okay, so 15 times 3 gives you 45. So that would be 3 when we divide. And then 3 times the 10 gives us 30. And that's where we get the 33 because we saved that addition for last. All right? Any other questions on that? All right, with the time we've got left today, I want to look at page 30, if you would. Flip over to page 30 at the top of the page, and we're going to start looking today at some word problems. Now, the book breaks down some steps for you. I'm like, I don't know. I don't buy into the steps. I buy into think it through. Okay, but they have some steps that are supposed to supposedly help you think it through. They break it into 3 steps that I think are utterly meaningless, but we'll go over them anyway. Step 1 is to think. That's always a good start. Now, what should you be thinking? Well, first you should think, what do I know about the situation? What am I told is true? And then what is the problem actually asking me to find? What am I trying to accomplish here? What's the goal? Step number 2 is to plan. How do you figure it out? To me, I say you're still thinking, okay? How do I figure it out? Do I add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Does that make sense? Figure out which operation is suggested. And then finally, solve, meaning you actually work the problem out. You do the addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division that you thought of. Look at the example now in the blue shaded box and read about Emily for us, if you would. Griffin?
Where at?
In the blue shaded box on page 30, there's a word problem about Emily. Read that for us, sir.
Emily bought 2 books for $7 each, a CD for $10, and a postal for $2. How much change did she receive after giving the cashier $30?
All right, now look at what we've got here. She's going to the store, she's buying a bunch of stuff. What's probably the first thing we need to know about all the stuff she bought, class? We need to know how much money she spent. It doesn't say to find that, but you realize you have to know that first, correct? So what all did she buy? Well, how many total items did she purchase, class?
3.
No, 4. She bought a book, she bought another book, she bought a CD and a poster. So the book class was 7, and so was the next book, right? So far we're at 14. Then she buys a CD for 10 more, so now we're up to 24, and then she buys a poster for 2, so now we're up to $26. Do you see how even though the problem didn't say find out how much she spent, we know intuitively we got to figure out that her total at the store was $26, not including tax. We'll get to tax later. So this is tax-free week for whatever reason, or maybe she lives in a state like Oregon, for instance, has no state sales tax. Buy your stuff in Oregon, I guess. But anyway, no sales tax, $26, that's how much she spent. But she doesn't give the cashier $26. It says she gives the cashier class 30. She does not want the cashier to take all $30. She wants money back, right? She wants change. What would I have to do to figure out how much change she gonna get, class? Subtract. The $30 she gave minus her total would give us the change. Class, her change is $4. Do we see how to think through word problems? Like we've been doing this for years. We're not utterly clueless. That's so happy. All right, so let's turn over now, if you would, to page 32. Page 32, and look at word problem number 15. Read word problem 15 for us, if you would, Paige.
If a colored pencil box with 24 pencils, how many total pencils are in 22 boxes?
All right, so we got one box, 24 pencils in a box. But then we're like, hey, there's 22 boxes. That's a lot of pencils because every single box got how many pencils in it, class? 24. Now, could we 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus, and do that 22 times? Could we do that?
Yeah.
But do we want to do that?
No.
Because mathematicians are. So what do we reckon we should do instead?
Multiply.
Actually, find the answer. And 3 hands shot up awfully fast there. Some people already got it. Let's give the rest of the class a chance to catch up and get it. And I figure that's probably long enough. What you got, Luciana?
528.
Say that again?
528.
Okay, I thought that's what you said. 528 pencils. How many had that answer? 528. All right, questions on that? So let's go to number 17, right below it. Read that for us if you would. Kirsten.
Mount Rainier, 17?
Number 17, yep.
Mount Rainier National Park covers 236,381 acres, and Everglades National Park covers, Everglades National Park covers 1,542,526 acres. How many more acres are in Everglades than are in Mount Rainier?
All right, do you see, by the way, they cheated? They didn't want to keep writing national parks. They just said, okay, we're going to use NP for national park here. All right, so which one's bigger, Mount Rainier National Park or Everglades National Park, class?
Everglades.
Everglades is way bigger. It's huge. It's a great big swamp, basically, where the alligators live in Florida. All right, so if I want to figure out how much bigger, what should I do, class?
Subtract.
I shouldn't add. That would give me the total size, right? I shouldn't multiply because I don't have that many national parks. I should subtract. And when we subtract, what do we get for the answer? How much bigger is Everglades National Park? It's way bigger than Mount Rainier National Park. What do we get, Ben?
They don't even have it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You looked up, so I thought you had it. Sorry. Okay, Michael.
1,306,445.
Say that one more time, nice and loud.
1,306,145.
There we go. 1,306,145 acres. Good. All right, how many had that for number 17? All right, drop down to number 19. It's on the other side of the picture. And read about the Taylors for me, if you would. Let's see, Jalen, you know the Taylors, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the Taylors. Read about the Taylors.
The Taylors?
Oh, they have grandkids. Never mind, wrong Taylors. Bryson, you read it for us.
Recently bought school clothes. Recently bought school clothes for their nine grandchildren.
He's just hung up on the number 9. He can't get past it. That's a lot of grandkids.
No.
Keep going, Bryson.
If they spend an average of $167 per child, how much did they spend to the nearest $10?
Ah, do you see a little twist on this class? It starts off by saying they have how many grandkids? 9. And they spent how much on each one? On average?
67.
167, right? So the first step is pretty straightforward. What are we going to have to do to figure out how much they're spending here, Bryson? Multiply, right? But it doesn't stop there. Look at the very end. They want to know how much they spent to the nearest 10. So once we get our answers, what are we going to have to do with it, Bryson? Oh, you're way overthinking this. To the nearest $10. What's that asking us to do? Round it off. So they want us to get our answer, but then they want us to round it off. At your seats, find how much they spent and then round it to the nearest $10. All right, Corey, before you round, what's the total?
1,503.
How much?
$3.
What? Say the whole number one more time.
1,503. Like $1,503.
There we go, 1,503. No hands in there, dollars. But then we got to round to the nearest 10. What does the 3 do to the 0, class? Nothing. It just turns into another 0. So how many rounded to 1,500? That's a lot of money for clothes. How many would like your grandparents to spend that much money on you for your clothes? All right. Do numbers 16 and 18 at your seats. Do 16 and 18 at your seats. All right, we ran out of time here. Let me give you the answers to 16. That's a lot of grapefruits. How many had 17,820 grapefruits? 17,820. What should we do on number 16, class? Multiply, right? Multiply the number of grapefruits per crate times the number of crates. And then on number 18, I know most of us didn't have time to do it, but what did we have to do on 18, class? Just add them all together, right? And didn't we actually get the addition done? No. For the sake of the video, if y'all paused it and did it anyway, $1,359. You're just adding them all together because it says total amount. All right, your homework for this evening, you're going to do just a couple of word problems, or a few word problems, I should say. You're doing page 33, numbers 9 through 19. Page 33, numbers 9 through 19 in the homework section. So a little shorter homework than usual tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and you are dismissed.
Okay, Mom, I got you.
Number 99.
Sorry, Mom.